multi-billion-dollar funding to cost-cutting, speed hiring to mass layoffs, 2015 was really the year of startups. And like every year, today on the show, we bring to you startups that you should watch out for in 2016. Last year, we were spot on with startups like ShopClues, Grofers, and Big Basket on our list. So for a nation brimming with ideas, how is 2016 going to be like? Well, experts believe that this year is going to be the year of consolidation and execution for startups. So we went ahead and asked our experts, Radhika Agarwal, the co-founder of ShopClues, and Sanjeev Agarwal from Helion Ventures, about the startups that you should watch out for in 2016. Our first expert is Radhika Agarwal, co-founder and chief business officer of ShopClues, the online retailer that joined the Unicorn Club in January 2016. While many questioned the startup's survival in the busy e-commerce space, the team has stood firm with huge attraction from the Indian middle class. And these are Radhika Agarwal's best bets for 2016.
Indian e-commerce in 2015, which was the banner year of Indian e-commerce, was 12 billion, 14 billion. So not even 1.5%. Right. So we've not even started the internet game in India. We have the Flipkarts and the Snapdeals and the Amazons who are competing against each other. Yeah. We are targeting a customer with a product selection, with a merchant selection that's absolutely under the radar. I think Ritesh at Oyo Rooms is doing a phenomenal job. Created a market just out of nowhere. Somebody who's not necessarily doing something unique in the market, but is doing it faster and cheaper than anybody else. And that's delivery.
We all order online, but have you ever wondered how that product reaches your doorstep? Well, think of startups and there's one for every problem. First up on our list is Delivery, a startup in the logistics space that works with top e-commerce players, providing them with the kind of manpower and technology they need. And with the way e-commerce is taking over India, startups in this space will also rise with the high tide.
He says their startup is riding on the e-commerce wave, standing firm on the shoulders of giants like Flipkart, Snapdeal and Amazon. That's the man behind Gurgaon-based logistics startup Delivery, Sahil Barua. The startup, a brainchild of 5 techies, Delivery works with top e-commerce players to deliver products. Founded in 2011, the founders' initial idea was that of a hyper-local startup to deliver food for restaurants, flowers for local shopkeepers, etc. A few months into the startup, the team decided to change its business model after e-commerce companies approached them to make deliveries on their behalf. So 5 years ago, they bet on logistics and also that e-commerce would one day take over India.
When we actually studied the market, we realized that e-commerce was going to be a whole different sort of kettle of fish from the existing logistics networks. To give you a simple example, the larger logistics networks work on hub and spoke models which necessitate a certain amount of time and cost when delivering a product. And when we understood the challenges behind cash on delivery, we realized that the logistics company of the future was also going to become a large offline payment gateway.
And in 5 years, the business has grown tremendously. The startup now delivers anywhere between 2 lakh to 3 lakh orders a day across 350 cities, operating 750 courier stations. E-commerce giants are now banking on logistics startups like Delivery and Ecom Express, along with their technology and manpower to provide quick and efficient deliveries.
We started off in a space where our nearest competitor was 2,000 crores in revenues. And and we were dealing with DHL, we were dealing with Aramex, we were dealing with Gati. So it was hard for us to bring on people, bring on investors and convince them that there was still space for a delivery to be built. That was one. Operationally, one of the challenges as we grew, and I think luckily looking back we stayed patient, is while we were growing, obviously other companies came into the space. We sort of kept hammering away saying we will not expand until we understand the unit of our business completely.
And thumbs up has come from investors like Tiger Global and Nexus Venture Partners. But it's not just the backroom boys. Key to their success, they say, are their delivery boys. They employ around 15,000 delivery boys, skilling and providing them with a steady job with growth opportunities, they say, as a big focus.
Because of advent of the hyperlocal sector, where there's again a requirement for similar workforce, and obviously the e-commerce industry itself growing extremely rapidly, we have seen people from outside large cities coming into work for this sector specifically.
For instance, 21-year-old Pawan from Burari village of North Delhi is using this job to pay for his education. He's pursuing Bachelor's of Arts from the School of Open Learning, Delhi University.
हाँ, ये जॉब मेरे लिए बहुत मायने रखती है क्योंकि मैं इनमें से जो अमाउंट होता है अपने घर पे देता हूँ और अपने जो पढ़ाई पे भी मैं इसको खर्च करता हूँ, इसलिए जो जॉब है मेरे लिए बहुत मायने रखती है.
In 2014, e-commerce logistics startups which work with e-commerce players raised 10 crore US dollars. And in 2015, the number tripled to $30 crore, a sign of their growing significance. Clearly, no dearth of funds for these startups, and with reports suggesting that India's e-commerce market is expected to breach the $100 billion mark by 2020, startups like Delivery have an exciting ride ahead.
The next startup on our list is one that we've all heard about. We all know him, Ritesh Agarwal, the founder of Oyo Rooms, and his story of starting up is what dreams are made of. This young entrepreneur made headlines last year and is now on the Shop Clues founders list as a startup to be watched out for.
Adding another feather to his cap, the much talked about 21-year-old founder of Oyo Rooms, Ritesh Agarwal secured a place for himself in the coveted 30 under 30 list Forbes recently released for India. The 21-year-old who once sold SIM cards in Odisha now heads one of the most valuable startups by a college dropout. 4 years ago, at the age of 18, Ritesh was bitten by the startup bug and established a hotel rental startup, Oravel Stays, which was transformed into his most recent and successful business, Oyo Rooms, a technology-driven, branded network of hotels in 2012. And since then, there's been no looking back.
I was at Kota, Rajasthan, working myself off to potentially become an IIT JEE applicant who would have potentially done well. At the same time, in a month, I realized an empty mind is a devil's workshop. I used to take weekend trains, come to Delhi, and spend time sneaking into entrepreneurship events. For 2 years, I interned and worked for startups for free or for little or no stipends, and I enjoyed doing that.
The man who prefers walking bare feet in office as shoes feel too restricting has come a long way from the days when he used to carry a backpack with all his possessions in it, often sleeping in staircases as he couldn't afford a hotel room. Although the backpack is gone now, as he has shifted in an apartment on his parents' insistence, remembering his days of struggle and then his triumph, he says his story does sound a bit like a movie script.
When I ran out of money, I had little or no friends in Delhi. On the other side, if I had called my family, the first thing they would say is, you got to come back to home. You know, as an entrepreneur, you almost can see the impact that you want to create, and the last thing you want is to go away from solving that problem. So I persisted. I said, you know, I'm really young. I can take this challenge.
And it is innovators and entrepreneurs like him who the industry body ASSOCHAM says will form the next set of unicorns and billionaires club of the country by 2020. With maximum value creation expected in areas like e-commerce, financial services, travel services aggregators such as radio taxis, among others.
We are very confident the way the youngsters are coming, the startups are coming up, at least the dozen of them will be the billionaire in another 5 to 6 years.
With immense growth opportunities available in untapped sectors like education and healthcare, the world's third largest startup nation is gearing up for its next set of unicorns and billionaire founders. Experts point out that consolidation is going to be a key theme for startups in 2016. And at what could prove to be the biggest of such a move, hotel room aggregator Oyo Rooms recently acquired its nearest rival, Oyo Rooms. With that, Oyo now has a massive network of 4,000 hotels and over 40,000 hotel rooms spread across the country. With traditional hotel groups nowhere close to Oyo's scale and acquisition of Oyo Rooms, Oyo most certainly is going to be one of the startups to watch out for in 2016. With camera person Girish, Abhishek Singh for NDTV.
Time for us to slip into a short break now. When we come back, our next expert, Sanjeev Agarwal, tells us about the startups that you should watch out for in 2016. Don't go away.